This is Kenzie, and our poem is called Sexism No Longer Exists.
Once my father told me that sexism no longer exists, but in the same breath he said to not wear a skirt that stopped before my knees because men just can't control themselves. Once my father told me that sexism no longer exists,
but in the same breath he said if your husband ever hits you, it just means he cares.
Once my father told me that sexism no longer exists, but in the same breath he's laughed as he picked up my mother's paycheck for 77% of what his was.
They work at the same office.
They have the same job. Once my father told me that sexism no longer exists,
but in the same breath he told me I'd only grow up to marry. I'd only grow up to take care of the children. I'd only grow up until college.
Once my father told me that sexism no longer exists, but in the same breath I told him it does. I told him it's not a bonus.
It's a paycheck.
It's a right.
I told him it's not a sin to not have a child I can't care for. It's
a right. I told him I have a right. I told him my education isn't a privilege. It's a right.
I told him I have the right to walk home alone at night and not carry my keys like they are knives.
I told him I have the right to not get hit and see it as a sign of affection. Once my father told me that sexism no longer exists.
But in the same breath I asked him,
why don't you say this to your son?